All right, welcome back, guys. It's Clay Fink here. We're gonna get a little bit of a Florida State versus Virginia preview going. There's been a lot of talk about, some of the factors that are playing into this game that can make it little bit more competitive than maybe these teams should be. Um, with the throwback jerseys and the anniversary of the upset and that one defensive tackle talking about how he's from Florida and they didn't recruit him because he was too small. He's not a phenomenal player. So we'll get to that. But I wanted to start off with some stats. Virginia has not, much like FSU. I mean, they haven't played anybody of Alabama's caliber, but much like FSU, they've not been super tested consistently so far this year, and that's led to, and don't get me wrong, they have a good offense, but that's led to some elite offensive production. And it's a little bit more reflected in the traditional box score numbers than it is in the um, EPA and success rate and all that. But I mean, this offense has been phenomenal through 2 week or 3 weeks. Four? They've played four. Yeah, they've played four. Um, and the rushing game is one of the best in the country. Um, I posted a stat on Twitter yesterday that they are one of three teams nationally that have five 100-yard rushers on the season. That's Florida State, Virginia, and Texas. Now, they're not going to be playing Stanford or whoever else this week. And you could say that same thing about Florida State. Granted, they played Alabama, but I think that's just something that's worth noting as we go through some of these statistics with Virginia. They have not gotten to the meat of their schedule yet. It's been pretty smooth sailing so far. They had a close one with NC State, and that's the film that we're going to be breaking down today. But outside of that, they completely dominated Stanford. I mean, they made them look like a group of six team, which they might as well be. Terrible addition by the ACC. But yeah, let's look at this a little bit. So you've got Florida State over on the left, number one in net EPA per play this season. So that's factoring in the EPA per play on offense and defense, 0.37 and minus 0.23. Oops. And it's I mean, they've just been completely dominant throughout this year so far, and that has kind of stemmed from the rushing game, but on a per play basis, the passing attack is as successful, if not more successful, than the rushing game. They just haven't been passing at all. Tommy has, amongst starting quarterbacks in the Power Four, the lowest amount of or lowest amount of dropbacks, like passing dropbacks this year by like 10. Like, it's not even close. There are guys in the Power Four who have four times as many dropbacks as Tommy does this year. So they just haven't needed him to throw. And even in the Alabama game, like eh, eh, they didn't they didn't need him to throw at all. He threw like what 13 times. So this is a spider chart. Both all of these first three graphs are all going to be from gameonpaper.com. Great website. Highly suggest checking it out. They give live like advanced box score statistics during games for every FBS game. Um, as you can see, Virginia has been a juggernaut on offense. I think what stands out to me the most, and obviously it's one of their highest percentile metrics, is they have prevented havoc plays, which are tackles for loss, sacks, forced fumbles, pass breakups, interceptions. I think that's it. Um, they've prevented them at a very high rate, and that's interesting to me because some of the PFF grades don't quite reflect that. That's generally an offensive line stat because what is the most common havoc play? A TFL or a sack, I guess. So that's interesting to me, but that might also just kind of reflect the defensive lines that they've faced so far. I mean, NC State is the best team they've faced, and they don't have, some ridiculous defensive line. But as you can see, I mean, there's really, I mean, I guess you could say pass success rate is a weak point, but through 4 games, there are not really any weak points in this offense. So now let's look at the defense. Um, yeah, they're really bad. It's bad. Um, they lost a lot in the transfer portal. They have lost a lot to injuries, both on the offense and defense. But it's bad. Um, as you can see here, early downs EPA per play allowed is horrific, terrible. What does that mean for Florida State? Well, what are the downs where you can run the ball regardless of the down and distance? That would be first and second down, the early downs. So if Virginia, and every team does that, you're more likely to run the ball when you're not in the later downs. If Virginia cannot stop the run on early downs, this could get out of hand. This could really, really, really get out of hand. And you see that also here. Rush EPA per play is what, probably 13, 14%. Um, so this statistic, line yards, I don't totally remember how it's calculated. I don't totally trust it, but this is interesting. It's basically supposed to be some combination of like yards before contact, or some form of yards before contact, just like how many yards per rush attempt can be attributed to the offensive line. And I think that's probably their lowest percentile. So, I mean, the PFF grades haven't reflected it, but I think the FSU offensive line has been awesome run blocking through 2 or 3 games. But this might be another game where they can really, really take over, and solidify themselves as like one of the better offensive lines in the country. But yeah, I mean, overall takeaway there is just it's ugly. Okay, so get to some PFF grades. This is it's I wanted to filter out all of the guys who've played like 10 snaps or whatever, so I had to go to a different page, and it does not include the quarterbacks for some reason. So Chandler Morris is the highest graded player on the team, their quarterback, former North Texas, former TCU, maybe another stop in there. But he has an 84.9 grade, which ranks 21st out of 70 qualified Power 4 quarterbacks. But he has more turnover worthy plays, which are, plays that should be a turnover, factors in like dropped interceptions, stuff like that, than he does big time throws this year, which are just considered high level, difficult throws. Um, it's 4 versus 5, I think. Tommy, on the other hand, has 6 big time throws to 1 turnover worthy play. So, I think the grade is a little interesting. But here's where he does really impress me. Morris has the single best pressure to sack rate in all of the Power 4 this year. So what does that mean? Quarterbacks are going to get put under pressure. The offensive lines are not perfect. But what the offensive line cannot directly control is whether a pressure turns into a sack. That's on the quarterback. Are you going to escape that pressure and either throw it away or, get a gain or whatever, or are you going to get sacked? He has not been sacked this year. And a few other qualified quarterbacks have also not been sacked. But he has been under pressure more than any of those quarterbacks. He's been pressured 32 times this year and has not been sacked a single time. FSU might change that. His additionally, and this kind of can explain what's going on there and like how he's not taking sacks at this historic rate. His 86.1 grade under pressure ranks 3rd in the country among 65 qualifying Power 4 quarterbacks. That's a higher grade than his regular grade. That's a significantly higher grade than his clean pocket grade. That's an anomaly. That's not that's not how football works. You're not significantly better under pressure than you are from a clean pocket. That's just basic common sense. He's going to regress, is what I'm getting at. And I think this might be the week where it happens. I just, it just seems so unstable. You look at the other guys who are ahead of him in grade under pressure, they have phenomenal grades from a clean pocket as well. He does not. He has like a below average grade from a clean pocket. So I think he's just gotten a little bit, I don't want to say lucky, but kind of lucky with how he's been able to diagnose some of these pockets that he's been in and move around. Yeah. All right. Anything else to take away? Oh, the UVA center. This has been talked about quite a bit. Brady Wilson. He has a 78.7 grade this year, which ranks fourth among 77 Power Four centers. But he left last game with an injury. I've seen, I think the head coach put out some statements like positive about his health. So we'll see. We'll see. But if he's not healthy, that is a huge drop off. One of their starting guards shifted to center to replace him last week. So then you're bringing in, another backup. And the starting guard did not play well at center. So that's something to monitor. I think tomorrow night, Thursday night, I think we'll get the availability, but let's see. Their right tackle, I just moved to the defense, but Virginia's right tackle is really bad. It shows up in the grades. It shows up on the film. He's awful. So that's the guy to attack, I guess. The left side in general is pretty solid, even including the center, and then right guard and right tackle are easily their weak points. So, all right, looking at the defensive grades, we've got. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, but the team grades. So, UVA has a team grade, and I don't care whatsoever about these team grades, but it's interesting. I especially don't care when we're this early in the year and everybody's played different levels of competition. UVA's team grade is a 94.6, which ranks 13th in the FBS. And FSU's is a 93.4, which is tied for 21st. So, whatever, man. But figured that was notable. They've been the higher graded team this year. So, anyways, moving on to the defense. As you can see here, their four highest graded players are their four starting defensive linemen. So they have, let's see here, Rickert, Daniel Rickert, the defensive end, 99 snaps this year, 74.8 grade, which is tied with his fellow starting defensive end, Mitchell Melton, for the 62nd best grade in the Power Four out of 242 players. And then he's been getting pressure at a very high rate. He's been one of the best pass rushers in the country, Rickert, this year. He's got 11 pressures, which ranks 34th out of 211 players in the Power Four, edge rushers in the Power Four. And then he's got an 84.7 pass rush grade, which is 12th. And then of those 11 pressures, 10 of them came on true pass sets, which are no play action, drop back longer than 2.5 seconds, a few other criteria, but they're much more predictive than just regular pressure numbers. 10 of his 11 came on true pass sets, and that ranked tied for 8th.
I'll get right back to Clay's film review, but first, let me tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. Listen, Clay's going to give you some really good insight this year, and if you can use that in any way to your advantage for the more or less on Sleeper, go do it. We'll play that game every Wednesday night that we preview. Richie and I will try and help you make some money. It's very simple. You go pick more or less on any game player that's happening in college football, the NFL, NBA when it starts, NHL when it starts. You can do it for La Liga right now. I saw that you could do it for Barcelona. Anything you're following, go play the more or less game, make some money. Use our code DFNS for a 100% match up to $100. You won't regret doing that. Make sure that you are using the Sleeper app for your eliminator leagues, for your fantasy football, for any kind of pick'em pools that you have. Sleeper has the best interface that you'll find. They have a great score bug where you can follow all of your favorite teams, select them as favorite, whatever you're needing to do. Sleeper is your one-stop shop for all things football and sports beyond. Make sure you check Sleeper's terms of use. Terms and conditions always apply. We appreciate Sleeper for their support. Now back to Clay.
Tied with Keldrick Falk. So, all right, getting into some film. So I wanted to start off with a heater. I've seen a lot of worry about Chandler Morris, and he's got some good metrics. Don't get me wrong. We are all right. We're going to the fourth quarter of the NC State game. Minute 22 left. They've drove the ball, I don't know, I think 40 yards downfield at this point. 3rd and 9. This is just a completely nails play from Virginia, from Chandler Morris, from the offensive line, from the guy that he targets. Just, I'll let it play. That's about as good as it gets. That's what you're hoping when you draw it up. Let it play from this angle. I mean, that'll do. That will do. So it's a little high, obviously. A little. It's very high. He threw it too high. But you kind of see, and I'm about to show you this next play. Keep in mind, they're down 4 points, minute 20 left in the fourth quarter, and this is, the drive to win it, basically. Awesome. I mean, that's such a phenomenal play by both him and the receiver. I mean, we've got the safety closing in, corners in pursuit. He's going to get cracked. Oh, actually, no, he's going to fall below him. Hit each other. All right, well done, guys. All right, next play, 1st and 10. That was on 3rd and 9. Like, that is a awesome play. I'm sure Virginia fans were losing their minds watching that in real time. All right, here we go. We're on the 12. We've got 2 receivers to the boundary, 2 to the field. What are they going to do? Oh, look at this. Fascinating. So UVA is going to motion their running back out, run a wheel route. And who picks him up? This defensive end, number 1. I haven't looked. He's a big dude. I haven't looked at the measurables, but he is a big dude. And he should not have to drop into coverage, but he does. So Chandler Morris sees that, and he says, well, I'm going to target my running back in space against this defensive end who looks like he's like 6'6", 300 pounds. Well, he underthrows it. Bad. Really, really, really bad. You should not underthrow a ball so bad that a defensive end has time to use his ball skills. I mean, let's be serious. This guy, I'm sure this is the first interception of his career. Like, he looks like a cornerback on this play with how much time you gave him. That's just the easiest interception he's ever going to see. Ices the game. So I just wanted to show that 2-play sequence to start off. I'm really going to focus more on defense because I think that's what FSU can exploit. But yeah, that just kind of shows. I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves on Chandler Morris. Is he even like a top 5 quarterback on FSU's schedule? I guess I'd have to, really think about that. But I don't think he is. Yeah. So I wanted to throw one other big play in here because I really loved how the right side of the offensive line blocked on this play. Let me actually just skip to the end zone view. Big time touchdown. Awesome effort by the NC State corner, though, coming from the opposite side. But yeah, we get some motion. Three guys coming across. I just want you to watch the right side of the O line having to cross. These defenders, they are outside of their frames. They are across from them, and they have to cross their faces and seal them off on the backside here. And these are supposed to be their two worst offensive linemen, and they look completely in sync on this play. If you told me that the only run block concept that the Virginia O line coach ran with his players in practice was this, I'd believe it. They understand having to get low to get around. And then this dude's got legit speed. I know he almost gets hawked, and he does get hawked on a long run later in the game that I don't think ended up including. But he's legit. He's y'all saw it on the PFF. He's the second highest graded player on the offense behind the quarterback. But yeah, really, really, really good running back. Probably top 5 in the ACC if I had to bet. Maybe like top 7. All right, so we're moving to the defense. I just went for a drive to open the third quarter, like straight up. That's what I included. This seemed pretty notable, coming out of halftime. All right, safety up top, nickel, 2 linebackers. Let's see how the safety feels. Poorly. He misses the tackle, but this defense is bad, guys. Like, it's really bad. Like, I think I've mentioned that, when we were looking at the pie chart or whatever it's called. Spider web. Man, Smothers might be the best back in the entire ACC, to be honest. He's super legit. But yeah, let's see here. DT kind of gets in position, squares him up. Nope. I'll have to look at this and maybe I'll make a post about it. It felt like watching this film, they missed a lot of tackles. I mean, first of all, I need to look if this game was like an anomaly in that sense, but I wonder where they rank nationally in like missed tackle rate. Because it was rough in this game. And I think that probably contributes to why the run defense is so poor. All right. CJ Bailey, short crosser. I mean, yeah. Play action. Yeah. RPO. Bailey is legit, dude. Like, I know he's had some rough moments this year. I'm a fan. He's a top 3, probably, quarterback in the ACC. Tommy Beck. Looks like Casey Concepcion's back at NC State on this play. Yeah, man. I mean, just like watch this tackling attempt. He takes a fine angle. It's fine. The guy's crossing his face, but like that's more than enough to get him down, and he just doesn't even come close. So it's ugly. Like they have. I mean, as I said, their four highest graded defenders are their four starting defensive linemen. So they have a solid defensive line. Oh crap, what's his name? Rickard. Rickard. He is a legitimately good pass rusher so far this year through 4 weeks, but we'll see. We'll see. He's certainly not an NFL draft guy. Certainly, I mean, I watched 2 games of Virginia. I question. I think the running back maybe has an NFL draft future. Maybe. Um, Center probably not. He's just more of a good college player in my opinion. I didn't think any of the four defensive linemen were NFL guys. Certainly didn't think that Chandler Morris was an NFL guy. Woo. All right, let's break this down. So, running back in the backfield, 2 by 2. This receiver's sitting. He's running a corner. I think this dude's running like a deep over or in route. I think he is as well. And he just comes completely loose. That is, whoo! Where's he going, man? Where's this corner going? I mean, that's just, yeah. If you have to pull out the speed turn for that, I mean, that was not a special route in any way. That's bad, dude. I guess he sold it pretty well, but like, if we can get Lewayne McCoy back out there healthy, or like, I mean, Boggs, like, there are legit route runners on FSU who can, if that made the dude speed turn, whew, it could get, that's Jolie. That's a tight end. That's a tight end. Now, granted, barely a tight end. He's closer to a receiver, and he's one of the best in the country. But, whew, cornerback play is rough. I mean, this is going to be ugly when I get to the end zone view here. Okay, so we've got this guy lined up here with like a shade, probably like a one tech, I guess. And then we've got like the 4-eye and then 2 wide guys. Tight end. I mean, he doesn't even look like a tight end, dude. Like, but still, that is a tight end that just completely exposed that cornerback. So they're going to hand it off. I mean, they make it. The NC State O line is not bad, but they have weak points. That is for sure. Their center is a worry. I think their right guard is a worry, and their right tackle is a worry. They have a legit top 50 guy at left tackle, but outside that, and look how we've got right here locked off, right here locked off. We got the double working. We've got the puller coming across. He's going to meet this guy on the backside. Yeah. Yeah. Textbook stuff. This defense sucks, dude. Like, it's bad. NC State's offense has had, like, they struggled against ECU, dude. Like, this is not a particularly special offense that they're playing. And as you can see, it, what the hell? There we go. All right. So we've got the tight end over here. Phenomenal duo block here by the left guard and center. Look at that. And 71 doesn't quite peel off in time to meet his guy at the second level here. But I like this. I mean, Smothers, it's legit, dude. And so he just crosses face and gets outside. avoids another one by like tap dancing out there, and he's just gonna go until he gets caught. Very good player. Very, very, very good player. Yeah. All right, guys. So that is all that I have for you guys so far today. I think it's going to be a good game. If I had to give a score prediction, I think I would say 38-21 FSU. I think is my prediction. And I think the 21st, like the final touchdown for UVA, will probably be like a late fourth quarter, type of deal, where really it's not an accurate like representation of the game. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. Ready to get into ACC play and looking forward to doing more opponent previews in the future. Yeah, I appreciate TJ for the platform. So I'll see you guys later.